This is going to be another video um, off of a suggestion off my social media. One of my friends asked me to do one about the economic impact, good or bad, from the legalization of marijuana. The only problem is most people only want to look at tax revenue generated from the sales of marijuana, but that isn't the actual cost, good or bad. Obviously, you can't introduce a multi-million dollar industry into a state and it not help your physical bottom line year after year. Um, Colorado is running a budget surplus. The only problem is how much of that surplus can be laid directly at the feet of the sales of marijuana. The truth is, it's kind of hard to say. A lot of their budget surplus was due to the state's oil production. They hit something like $10 billion, which is a record high for oil exports. So it's kind of one of those, how much of that, like I said, their total budget was surplus was like 1.2 billion. So how much of that was due to oil? How much of it was due to marijuana? How much was it due to just a booming economy, where the state is just going to generate more tax revenue, period, just due to a better economy. So it's kind of hard to say. But there's other factors in determining whether something has beneficial cost, overall economic cost, good or bad. So, and let me explain it like this, because I don't think a lot of people have tied directly, or I don't even think a lot of people are trying to determine and collecting data on all the areas that are affected by the legalization of marijuana. So let me explain. Incarceration rates. Obviously, any incarceration rates due to legalization of marijuana is going to go down. Now, it won't stop because there's always going to be a black market. And what I mean by that is this. When you have a black market, it's going to be generated to selling to underage kids. All right, it's just like alcohol or tobacco, and then people are basically going to take those sales and give it to underage kids. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. If honest to God, if the government would enforce contributing to a minor more harshly and find out where underage kids are getting alcohol that they're not supposed to have or cigarettes they're not supposed to have, you would see an actual higher prison population because people are giving it to people they shouldn't. And this is inevitable. It's going to happen to marijuana as well. But I'm pretty sure that when Colorado and other places legalized the sale of marijuana, crimes dealing in trafficking marijuana decreased. So you're going to save money at that point. Now, but like I said, it's going to be offset by some of that if you were to actually enforce contributing to minors. Now, on the other hand, there's also this. I can tell you, I don't know exactly the entire numbers, but I've read about it. In states where recreational marijuana has been legalized, vehicle fatalities and accidents have gone up. So this is going to have an impact on local insurance, for cars, stuff like that. If you have to have insurance for cars, medical bills, all these things that are tied to when someone is using marijuana as involved in an accident. These are all costs due to marijuana. So I don't know if anybody's even tracking those numbers, and if they are, I don't even know where to find them. But those numbers, like I said, those are economic impacts, because the more you spend on insurance and medical bills and stuff like that due to accidents caused by marijuana or driving under an influence, a DUI, or driving while impaired, or however you want to word it, then at that point, those are economic costs. Another one is that I don't think people are looking into is the number of workman's comp claims. When you show up to work high and you get hurt, or you get high at work and you get hurt, and then you either get fired, or even if your job, because most jobs drug test now, especially if you're injured on the work. But so you would have workman's comp claims if they were eligible, if they didn't get fired or didn't get drug tested. You would have a higher rate of workman's comp claims. Also, people who get high on marijuana, I would like to see somebody track work output production, especially in businesses where you work on production. Like, does the production go up or down when you're high? And the quality of product, does it improve or does it go down? All these are economic factors that would have to be accounted for with the legalization of marijuana. And then you've got, now, medical marijuana and recreational marijuana are two different things. And let me be perfectly clear. There is a difference between marijuana and marijuana extracts, such as CBD oil. CBD oil is known to combat cancer. Marijuana helps cancer patients eat, gives them the munchies. Very little medical benefits to marijuana, like smoking marijuana. There's not very many. THC has some pain reliever qualities, but again, in order to reach those levels of THC, you'd probably be more into dabs, which is an extract, not exactly marijuana. You're not going to roll up a blunt of dabs. You just, you know what I'm saying? You smoke those out of a bowl usually. But anyway, my point being is there's very little medical impact or benefits from just smoking marijuana. As far as recreational use, anything that you would look at for recreational use, you would have to compare it to alcohol and tobacco, because of health benefits. Yeah, marijuana can help with some medical benefits, but at the same time, it also causes negative health impacts. Some studies have shown that it increases COPD, it increases anxiety, it also helps with anxiety, but it increases anxiety. It speeds up the heart rate. There's a lot of negative impacts to smoking marijuana as well. And people that want to deny that and only say it only does good, they're full of shit, period. Just full of shit. So you have economic gains and negative impacts from the legalization of marijuana. And I don't think enough people are tracking these data points. And these are not all the data points, obviously. But I don't think people are tracking enough of these to determine the overall negative impact or gains from legalization of marijuana. I hope this kind of helps my buddy understand that what he was asking me to do is almost impossible. I mean, it really is. Tell you the I can't give you a good or bad review of legalization of marijuana without having all the data points. So, but just based on the standardized, does it help with tax revenue? Absolutely. But is that really the benchmark? You know what I mean? Like, if production falls, if production and labor falls, and quality falls in whatever you're producing, and sales drop, that also impacts tax revenue. So that would be a hard thing to analyze and get very specific about, like how much is impacted by that. So I'm hoping this helps. I know it didn't answer any really questions of good or bad, but again, I think making that determination without knowing all the data points or knowing all the statistics would be haphazard and disingenuous. I don't think you could get an accurate measure. So if I give you my opinion, that's all it would be. It wouldn't be based on anything other than what I personally think. And hey, without the data points and without the statistics, it's meaningless. It's just an opinion.